Welcome to the Sage Thought Leadership Podcast, building experiences that connect, remove friction, and deliver insights. Well, hi everyone, and welcome to our podcast. I'm Ed Kless, and with me today is Dominic Monkhouse. Dominic is the author of F-Plan B, How to Scale Your Technology Business Faster and Achieve Plan A, an exciting blueprint for cultural change and business transformation. Dominic has scaled two UK technology companies from zero revenue to £30 million in 5 years. After leaving a trail of growth and winning several awards for creating great places to work, Dominic found his true calling, coaching other business leaders to help them have as much impact on their teams and organizations as he did. He is also the host of the weekly podcast called The Melting Pot with Dominic Monkhouse. Welcome to the Sage Thought Leadership Podcast, Dominic.
Ed, thanks very much indeed for having me.
So first off, Dominic, why do you do what you do?
When I was growing businesses, I suppose I look back and you look at we scaled to 30 million and we had 100 and odd people and we built the greenest data center in the UK. But actually the things that gave me the most joy were hiring talented people where I saw their potential was greater than they did, and creating a meritocratic organization where they would be promoted and develop beyond their expectations. And I got a real kick out of that. And, many of those people are still in touch and friends. And when we sold Pier 1 and I exited, I thought before I'd got a proper job again, I'd do some sort of coaching and consulting. And I found, to my surprise, that actually I get the same joy out of working with CEOs and their leadership teams that I did out of working with the employees in my own team. So if I work with a few CEOs and leadership teams at the same time, I get a sense of belonging, and then I get a sense of joy, I guess, seeing them develop in ways that they didn't expect.
Well, tell me a little bit more about your book, F-Plan B, How to Scale Your Technology Business Faster and Achieve Plan A.
As you said, I'd done a couple of tech scale-ups in the UK, and I'd done a turnaround as well in the middle. And some things were just absolutely core in all three of those businesses. And so the book is a sort of series of 5 principles and a 10-point plan that anybody can say, okay, well, what was it that I did or the team did? Some of those things are almost counterintuitive because so often small businesses copy what big companies do. So I have a deep pathological dislike for appraisal systems because I can't find any evidence from anywhere that anyone's ever done one and it's improved performance. Everybody hates it. It's a waste of time. So if you just scrap it, at least you get the time back. So there's, that's sort of maybe a controversial thing. I think keeping teams small, the reason that startups or small businesses win against big companies is because they've got a small multifunctional team. And so rather than create silos and destroy customer intimacy as you pass a customer from one silo to another, or actually fail to pass a customer from one silo to another, keep teams small. And that's one of the things that we did time and time again, created pods or stripes, multifunctional team that delivered all the value to a particular customer group. And so it's things like that. Customer is king. How do you measure it? Net Promoter Score. I've had Fred Reichelt, who developed that, on the podcast, and he was, we were looking for something at Rackspace. He wrote an article in the Harvard Business Review, and we jumped on that and rolled it out and used that as our measure, really, to see whether we were delivering what we called fanatical support or not. And so it's taking not a lot of things, a small number of things, and saying, right, if people wished to take anything from the success that I've had and the teams have had, just not a thick book, easy to grasp, easy to whip through and see how do you score, if you like, against these 10-point plan.
And I guess the contention of most small businesses is they don't have the time to put some of these things in place, that they're moving too quickly. Is that some resistance that you will often hear?
If I talk about a daily huddle, it is, but my contention is 15 minutes in the day gets you a couple of hours back every day if you just do it properly. One of the other things is often businesses don't have enough conflict. So one of the things is using something like radical candor and saying, okay, let's be deliberate about giving people feedback because we want them to be the best version of themselves. And so that doesn't take any more time. I don't think, in fact, I think that saves you time. And then one of the other things is hands up if you've ever been in a meeting that you think was a waste of your time, right? I say that and everybody in the world puts their hand up. And then you say, well, and okay, what makes a meeting great for you? We end up with a short list of things. So everybody is in meetings all of the time that waste their time, but nobody does anything about it. I mean, this is insane. So I think if you ran better meetings, none of these things take any more time, but if you ran better meetings, you'd actually have time on your hands rather than today. You'd also be happier.
I believe Peter Drucker said, meetings are by definition a concession to deficient organization. Which means if it means we're disorganized, so we shouldn't be disorganized about our disorganization.
Oh, look, I think if I want to understand a company's culture, I just go and attend an executive team meeting, and it's all there. It's where culture meets reality in a business. And so often I'll have a CEO and they'll say, "Oh, I'm worried about the fact that we don't have a culture of accountability." It's like, let me bring you a mirror. It will be in the behavior that you and your team exhibit. Won't be the fault of any other employee in your business.
And Dominic, we have an exit question we ask all of our guests, and that is, who is a hero of yours and why are they a hero?
Winston Churchill. I think if you find yourself in hell, keep going. I think, not an easy character by any means, but transformative for the nation and maybe even the free world when people needed him. And that whole have a purpose to drive your business through the hard times. Great example for many CEOs I've worked with.
And lastly, Dominic, how can somebody contact you?
We are monkhouseandcompany.com. So I'm Dominic Monkhouse, LinkedIn, or hit the website and send me an email.
All right. Dominic Monkhouse, author of F Plan B, How to Scale Your Technology Business and Achieve Plan A. Thanks so much for being a guest on the Sage Thought Leadership Podcast.
Ed, my pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Review and subscribe by searching your podcast player of choice for Sage Thought Leadership Podcast.